Happening now, reaction is pouring in following yesterday's rush of the U.S. Capitol. Special coverage next. Plus, a check of other local news headlines, all coming up.
Well, the clouds are still with us once again today, but we could see some peaks of sunshine by the afternoon. I'll give you the details next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Congress formally confirmed Joe Biden's presidential election victory after an overnight joint session was delayed by violent protests yesterday. Shortly after the certification, President Trump issued a statement promising an orderly transition on January 20th. Karen Kafa is in Washington with the very latest on the fatal breach of the U.S. Capitol.
After a day of violence on Capitol Hill and weeks of refusing to concede, President Donald Trump released a statement early Thursday morning agreeing to an orderly transfer of power, reading in part, "Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. The statement after Congress's certification of Joe Biden's win over Trump in November's election.
Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes.
The proceedings, which began Wednesday afternoon, were halted by the first breach of the U.S. Capitol since the British attacked it during the War of 1812. The ugly scenes carried on for hours. Smashed windows, smoke grenades, an armed standoff at the front door of the House, and protesters on the Senate floor.
We will not be kept out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats.
A short video released by Trump during the violence told rioters to go home, but mostly repeated lies about his November loss.
And when it's over, it is over. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected.
Biden, now less than 2 weeks away from inauguration, condemned the violence.
It's not protest, it's insurrection. The world's watching.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Karen, thank you. Now, members of New York's National Guard are being sent to D.C. to help the peaceful transition of presidential power. New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo says 1,000 troops would be sent for up to 2 weeks at the request of the U.S. National Guard. Congressman Tom Reed is now condemning the mob that stormed the Capitol amid the electoral vote count yesterday, and now calling for unity across the nation. The representative of New York's 23rd Congressional District spoke to lawmakers gathered overnight counting and certifying President-elect Biden's win. Listen.
Madam Speaker, I come to this side of the aisle as a proud Republican, but most importantly, as a proud American. Today we saw an assault on our democracy. I love this institution. I love the United States Congress, and I love the United States of America. And what I saw today was mob rule that spat upon the blood of my father, that is in the soil of Europe and in the soil of Korea, and who gave us, through that blood, this sacred Constitution and the sacred ability to lead this world as a power that says we settle our differences not with mob rule, we settle our differences through elections. And when those elections are over, we have a peaceful transition of power. Now, make no mistake to my colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle, I will be passionate in my disagreement with you. I will be passionate in my ideas for the future of this country. And I will fight for my Republican ideas that I hold near and dear. But I will stand with you tonight and send a message to the nation and all Americans that what we saw today was not American, and what we see tonight in this body shall be what we do in America, and that is to transfer power in a peaceful way. And with that, I yield to my best friend in Congress and a Democrat, Josh Gottheimer, my co-chair of the Problem Solvers Caucus.
thank. I thank my friend for yielding and for standing with me and with all of us. Tom Reed is my co-chair of the Problem Solvers Caucus. He's a Republican and I'm a Democrat. When it comes to policy views, we often disagree, but at the end of the day, we are united as Americans. My good friend like me always puts country first. Today, a group of lawless thugs sought to upend the Constitution and the peaceful transition of power because they didn't like the outcome of the presidential election. So they tried to nullify it using improvised explosives, shattering windows, breaking down doors, injuring law enforcement, and even tearing down the American flag that rises above this beacon of democracy. But their attempt to obstruct democracy failed. Their insurrection was foiled. The American people and the greatest democracy the world has ever known won. Abraham Lincoln, who served in this very body, famously said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." That's why, for the sake of this country, we must stand together, united, and celebrate a peaceful transition of power. In 14 days, President-elect Biden will be sworn in, and despite all of our differences, I have faith that for the American people, we will come together, Democrats and Republicans, committed to unity, civility, and truth. We will recognize our higher purpose to help America through these dark days. That is the only way we will beat COVID, rebuild our economy, and stand up to threats at home and abroad. Working together as Democrats and Republicans, I know our best days will always be ahead of us. I yield back.
Madam Speaker, I encourage my colleagues to always search their conscience and their souls. And I respect my Republican colleagues and my Democratic colleagues. But today, let us pause and remember what happened here today. Let us pause that our tenure in this Congress will far surpass the time that we stay here. And let us pass and cast our votes today, recognizing that what we do here today will set the course of this institution for years to come. And this institution, Madam Speaker, shall not fail, because the United States of America shall forever be the beacon of hope, the inspiration to all, and may God bless our great country. I yield back.
Reed previously announced he would not object to certifying the Electoral College's results. More now on reaction to yesterday's events. New York State Senator George Borrello, who works closely with Congressman Reed in bridging state and federal government, joins us. Senator, thank you for your time today. I want to ask you, what was your initial reaction to seeing the events unfold there in Washington?
Well, certainly I was saddened by what I saw, this senseless violence and destruction, and certainly I'm, I condemn it, and I have certainly put out a statement that has said that I feel horrible for those folks and their families who lost their lives yesterday, and just as we should condemn the violence we've seen across our cities, across the nation, this too is something that is unnecessary. I'm so glad that Congressman Reed and everyone there is safe, and that they were able to get back to to business somewhat there, and it's just an unfortunate outcome from what should have been a peaceful rally.
Yeah, and now we see that people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike, are very outraged by the sense that the Capitol was rushed and invaded during this procedural count of the Electoral College. How do we move on? We've had a lot of people in the district who support President Trump. They believe in the ideas of making America great again, and he's throughout the campaign mentioned draining the swamp, getting new blood into government, like yourself as a business owner working at the state level. How do we move on, and what do we say to each other and our neighbors who maybe do have different ideas?
Well, I think people across the political spectrum have felt disenfranchised and lost confidence in the election process and in our system. And that's what has to be addressed. We can sit here and justify or explain or cite statistics, but in the end, this is all about people's confidence in the system and having confidence that their vote counts and that their vote matters. And again, this is not limited to one group or another. So it's critically and vitally important that we restore people's confidence in the American system of government.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm sure as we move through the next few days, discussions will continue about what's next. And at the end of the day, like Congressman Reed mentioned in his address to Congress last night that we played moments ago, the people need to come together. And I hope that we'll see that over the next weeks here. Senator Borrello, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And among those with many questions around our area are students. And this morning we spoke to Jamestown Public School Superintendent Dr. Kevin Whitaker, who after watching the chaos there in D.C. felt it was necessary to prepare his staff to talk with students who might have questions about what they saw.
I am concerned about the raw, unfiltered, unedited, uncurated news that came out of that shameful event at the Capitol. Children have been affected. There's no doubt about it. Adults have been affected. There's kind of two parts that I struggle with. One is the exposure to the violence and just the raw emotion. And certainly we saw, if anyone followed social media, it was all over the place, the shooting and then subsequent death of that young woman in a very up close and right next to you way. And then on the other side, there's the symbolic violence of having that group enter that symbol of our democracy, the Capitol. And so I sent out a message today to our principals saying that it's important that they send something to their staff that says kids are going to have questions. Older kids are going to have maybe more and different questions than younger kids, but everybody's going to have a question. And they've received this news directly to their device or their computer or whatever it happens to be, and it hasn't been curated or moderated in any way. And we can help with that as adults. We may not have the answers, and it's important to know that there may not be answers to give to kids, but we can listen to them, we can help them process, and we can be a support for them in this really challenging times.
The superintendent says it's important not to sugarcoat or lie to your kids, but rather be honest and talk openly with them about what happened. Next here, a check of local news and weather, including what police say was an illegal shooting near Kennedy. And later, New York's governor won't be attending the Bills' playoff game on Saturday. We'll tell you why. Next, as WNY News Now continues.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Two 22-year-old Falkner natives are facing several charges after the New York State DEC say they illegally killed a deer in the town of Poland last month. Following an investigation by the environmental conservation officers and Ellicott Police, Anthony Jenko of Falkner and Calvin Nowicki of Erie, Pennsylvania were charged with the illegal taking of a deer at night with a light, discharging a firearm from a roadway using a silencer, and trespassing. Police were first tipped off after a landowner reported blood and drag marks in the snow. Investigators allege the pair shot a deer from Sprague Hill Road with a spotlight on posted property and with a rifle equipped with a silencer at night on December 12th. The two were issued appearance tickets and are scheduled to appear in the town of Poland court in February. After initially saying he would travel to Orchard Park this weekend to the Buffalo Bills playoff game, Governor Andrew Cuomo now says he won't be in attendance. Last week, Cuomo announced that 6,700 fans would be allowed to attend the playoff game at the stadium against the Colts. Right after that, Cuomo noted he would be one of those fans in attendance. Well, this was met with a mixed reaction from Western New Yorkers, including thousands even signing a petition to ban him from the game. Cuomo says now he won't be attending the game this weekend, and instead, he's giving his ticket away.
I'm going to give my Bills ticket to a nurse from Erie County Medical Center, ECMC, as a way of saying thank you and honoring all healthcare heroes.
Unless you're one of the fortunate fans who got a ticket to the playoff game, you can watch the Bills battle the Colts this Saturday at 1:05 on CBS. Well, let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. We appreciate you joining us today. Now let's get a check of our first defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us with that now. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Justin, and I have a question for you. Are you one of the lucky people who are able to get a Bills ticket?
Nope, I'm not. I'll be watching like the rest of us here on CBS come this Saturday. It should be exciting, though. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Well, I'm not even going to get into it. Let's get into weather. All right, this is a live look coming from Mayville, and you can see just the clouds continue to dominate across the area today at 30 degrees right now in Mayville. Satellite and radar composite just continues to confirm the clouds across the southern tier, but the good news is the precipitation is done and over with, but there could be at least an isolated snow flurry, especially later this afternoon. There's a trace of snow on the ground at the airport, so a trace for the month. We should be at 6.9 inches for the month right now. Our seasonal total still at 21 inches, and we're down almost 18 inches of snow for the season. So we're running below average for the snowfall once again. 30 was the high yesterday. We started the day at 27. The socked-in cloud cover has been helping to keep temperatures up at night, but it's also not helping to rise our temperatures during the day. 62 back in 1907 broke the record high, and just a few years ago in 2014, we bottomed out at 13 below zero, set the record low for this day. So through the afternoon, those clouds are just stubborn to get out of here. They're not going to budge much today, and there is a chance for an isolated snow flurry. Temperatures at least seasonable, 28 to 34, but some big changes are on the way, possibly for the end of the month. We'll tell you about what we know in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you. Well, next we tell you about a slithering surprise firefighters discovered while battling an apartment blaze in Cattaraugus County this week. Stay with us as WNY News Now comes right back.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smokin' deals on smokin' accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down.
Slow down.
And move over.
move over.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Not tomorrow, but right now on the WNY News Now mobile app. Follow local news as it happens.
The mother of a special education student at Maple Grove High School is speaking out.
And stay informed with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network.
And Lake Erie is covered in less than 1% of ice as this winter season has entered its peak.
Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
Well, welcome back to WNY News Now. Get this, an 8 to 10 foot pet snake was rescued by City of Olean firefighters during a blaze this week. Take a look. The Olean Fire Department says crews found this snake outside of its cage while searching a second floor apartment on West Green Street that was filled with heavy smoke on Tuesday night. So using that container, crews captured and removed the pet. Firefighters also discovered a second snake, successfully saving it from the fire. However, 2 pet cats did die. The apartment's tenant, crews say, was not at home at the time of the blaze. Firefighters say the fire was ruled an accident after investigators say flames started when a heat lamp tipped over, igniting combustible materials. The flames then spread to the adjoining walls and ceilings. Crews are now reminding everyone who uses heat lamps to make sure they're secured to prevent them from tipping over. Well, 3 new deaths linked to COVID-19 were reported in Chautauqua County yesterday. The county health department's COVID-19 dashboard reports the deaths involved a 50-year-old and 2 80-year-olds. There have now been 36 deaths linked to the virus here locally. Also announced were 113 new cases of the virus, with 651 now active. Of those cases, 49 people are hospitalized, that number down from 51. The 7-day average percent positivity rate increased 11% to 12.2%. Well, as the post-holiday COVID-19 surge continues and vaccinations slowly roll out, John Lawrence explains the pandemic's not letting up nationwide either, as new virus variants continue to cause concerns.
The United States' battle against COVID-19 is far from over.
It's not a home run yet because we don't really have the kinds of drugs where you give it that can stop the virus in its tracks.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's ensemble forecast projects as many as 438,000 people in the U.S. could die from COVID-19 by the end of the month. Some Nevada funeral homes are running out of space to store bodies and are using refrigerated trailers.
It's unfortunate. It's something that I never would ever have believed in my career I would ever have to be dealing with this.
CDC officials say a variant of the virus, first found in the UK, has infected at least 52 people in the US.
What it does, according to the Brits, is that it makes it easier for the virus to spread from person to person. So it is a virus that is in many respects more transmissible.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, is also concerned about another version of the virus, first identified in South Africa, which may lessen the effectiveness of COVID-19 antibody treatments.
It is a little bit more complicated because some of those mutations might have a negative impact on the efficacy of some of the monoclonal antibodies that are used.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. The U.S. rose above 21 million known infections and at least 131,000 people are hospitalized. As the post-holiday surge continues, officials are trying to speed the pace of vaccinations. Well, the popular Puppy Bowl is going on as scheduled. Discovery says Puppy Bowl 17 will still premiere on Discovery Plus and Animal Planet on February 7th. Team Ruff and Team Fluff will face off in the 3-hour event with a kitty halftime show, as always. 70 puppies from 22 different shelters will participate in the game. All the animals featured are up for adoption as well. Discovery says past games have had 100% adoption rates. That's awesome. ESPN's Monday Night Football play-by-play announcer Steve Levy and SportsCenter host Stage Steele will provide commentary and analysis of the fun. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Got to say hello to Peggy, good to see Patricia, Mike, Robert, Steele, Lori, and Mary as well. Hopefully you're all having a great day. We appreciate you tuning in. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. Well, now let's get to Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. Mr. Hunter, that Puppy Bowl is cute. In fact,
I don't watch it.
You don't watch it? You don't watch it? You're the Scrooge of
In my
puppies.
humble opinion, in my professional humble opinion, it's dumb.
I don't know. I think it's awesome. I love the cute little puppies. I'll DVR it, watch it later. Skip through the commercials, that type of stuff.
Whatever floats your boat, Jay.
Yeah. Well, it'll be better than seeing the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. That's for sure, right? In your idea, right? Dakota doesn't want to see that happen.
I mean,
he's a Patriots fan.
Like I said, it's going to come down to who they face. If it's the Saints, sorry, Bills. If it's the Bucks, the Bills have got it.
Well,
I'm on record.
Dakota's
Speaking of record, let's take a look at the weather and the cold air that's coming in, at least over the next 5 days. It is typical January cold here, nothing too extreme. 30 today, 31 Friday, 30 Saturday, and by the time we get into Sunday, 31. And yeah, we'll be likely making a run at the mid-30s once again by the time we go into mid next week. We're at 29 degrees right now at the Jamestown Airport. No wind to speak of, so we don't have a wind chill index to contend with today. So that's good news, but the clouds really just socked in again once again today, and it's going to be that way throughout the day today. And here's the reason why. Even though we have a high pressure ridge set up just to our west and south, the upper air pattern is still favoring winds from the north and west. So because we have that west to north flow, we're still getting cloud cover coming in from Canada. This storm system down here in the deep south is actually going to miss us. It should ride, essentially across Georgia and then go out to the Atlantic East Coast, and no threat to us here. But you can see those clouds continuing across the northeast here. So Future Scan just showed you those clouds across the day today. So again, if you see any peaks of sunshine, you should probably play the lottery because you're going to get lucky on that. Clouds continue to fill in once again tonight. Now watch what Future Scan does for tomorrow. It tries to break the clouds apart for tomorrow. I think Future Scan is overdoing this a little bit. I don't think we're going to see a lot of areas in full sunshine, but I do think we're going to see a sun and cloud mix tomorrow. So hey, we're going to see the sunshine for the first time in who knows how long. I've actually forgotten what the sun looks like. I mean, that's how long it's been since we've seen sunshine, but expect the sun and cloud mix later in the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we should be partly cloudy, and then going into Saturday will be our best chance to see at least maybe some areas of full sunshine later in the day. Now the big story is later in the month, going toward the end of the month. This is the upper air pattern at 500 millibars. This is when the weather starts to follow the wind pattern up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Notice this big dip that comes in here by the end of the month. This is called a trough. When the jet stream pulls further to the south like that, it's dragging in Arctic air from the Arctic Circle and dragging it into the Great Lakes region. And this is something we've been hinting all week long, that this is a possibility, that this could be our first real cold snap of the winter. You can see the jet stream pulling way into the continental 48, and that means Arctic air will likely infiltrate possibly by the 20th. That date is not guaranteed, but it's something we're going to continue to fine tune here as we go closer. So the zone forecast temperatures today, likely around 30 degrees in most areas. Again, if you see the sunshine, you should play the lottery. But the sunshine comes up on the next 7 days of your life, brought to you by 42 degrees and sunny, 31 tomorrow. Hello, my sunshine. On Saturday, 30 degrees there, 31 Sunday, a sun and cloud mix, partial sunshine on Monday, 33. Just ho-hum pretty much throughout the rest of next week as temperatures in the mid-30s. That'll do it for us here today. And news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com and on the mobile app. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at noon. Have a good day.